And now, from 12 Studios, this is News 12 Now.
Today is Tuesday, September 3rd. Welcome to News 12 Now. I'm Kylee Dedmon. New on News 12 Now, a Howell man has been indicted in federal court on charges of producing a child porn and possessing firearms as a felon. An indictment alleges 41-year-old Christopher Corson coerced at least 2 children to engage in sexual conduct, which was recorded. Among the items seized from his home in Howell over the summer were cameras hidden in a smoke detector, a shower light fixture, and an air vent. Investigators also seized 20 firearms, ammunition, and several firearm accessories. His arrest in July was a result in a joint operation with the Grayson County Sheriff's Office and the Homeland Security Department. An Arlington, Texas man is charged with sexual battery and indecent exposure after an incident at the WinStar Casino Hotel in Thackerville. Court documents state 23-year-old Bailey Joyner allegedly exposed himself and groped another man. Now, if convicted, he could face up to 10 years in prison. And one person was sent to the hospital after hitting 2 cows that were on the highway. It happened around at 10:30 on Northeast Loop 286 in Paris last night. Police say the driver was taken to the Paris hospital, and the 2 black cows, which came from the cattleman's sale barn, were killed in the collision. Well, turning to weather now, meteorologist Briggs is joining us. Brian, earlier this morning we saw a couple of rain showers kind of spread all over Texoma. What else should we be expecting come later today?
Yeah, a few light showers do continue, but unfortunately we're heading in the wrong direction. We're drying out, which we need some rainfall here. And we haven't seen a lot, at least for the majority of Texoma. Look at Decatur, though. Over 1.5 inches of rain, and then it pretty much drops to nothing the next county over. So that's just kind of the crazy extent to this rain that we've seen so far. Why we're not seeing that much rain here in the majority of Texoma, even though it looks very impressive on max radar, is because there's a lot of dry air between that rain and the surface. So a lot of this is just kind of disappearing before it hits the ground. So unfortunately, kind of eating into our much needed rainfall. It's all part of a large area of rain that's just been kind of bottled up to the south and west over the last, well, nearly week. And there is some hope that some of it will impact us here as we go forward. At the very least, we stay cloudy today with those temperatures in the upper 70s to lower 80s. And we do have a couple more opportunities for rain for the rest of this week. We're going to break it all down on what you can expect, and also a very nice taste of fall on the way for the weekend. We'll have it all in your full forecast here in a minute. Until then, back to you, Kylie.
All right, thank you, Brian. A 19-year-old man from Mexico was charged with human smuggling after 6 migrants were found in his SUV in El Paso. It all started with troopers trying to pull over Ruben Palma for an alleged traffic violation. Police say he refused to stop, and while trying to get away, ran a red light and crashed into a pickup truck. That's when authorities say they found the 6 migrants. One had minor injuries. Border Patrol agents took custody of the migrants. Palma faces charges of human smuggling and evading police. The driver of the pickup truck was not hurt. Police in Dallas have released dash cam video of the fatal shooting of Corey Cobb, the alleged shooter in the deadly shooting of a Dallas police officer from last week. Now, a warning, some may find this video disturbing. It happened Thursday night after pursuit. Officers caught up with a 30-year-old just north of the city. Cobb is seen walking towards police with some sort of long gun. Then at least one officer opens fire. Minutes prior, Cobb allegedly shot and killed Officer Darren Burks outside a community center. Burks was sitting in his patrol car, and police say the attack was targeted. Cobb allegedly then shot officers Jamie Farmer and Carissa David when they responded to Burks' distress call. Both were taken to the hospital. Farmer has since been released, but David is still in critical condition. Well, it's a new school year, and schools are trying to increase security, which means some students are returning to class with existing and new bans on electronic devices and clothing in effect. Some school districts make students lock their smartphones and other electronic devices in magnetic pouches or their lockers. In El Paso, Texas middle school banned all black outfits this year because of an association with mental health issues such as depression. Sweatshirts and hoodies and pockets may be banned to reduce opportunities for hiding, using, and distributing prohibited items. And an Alabama school district removed mirrors from the girls' restrooms to keep them from recording videos for social media in them. The boys' bathrooms never had mirrors. Well, Vice President Kamala Harris campaigned alongside President Joe Biden on Monday for the first time since she replaced him as the Democrats' presidential candidate. The venue, a union hall in Pittsburgh, is part of the campaign efforts to reach working-class voters in battleground states. CBS's Ed O'Keefe was there.
President Biden passing the torch on Monday in Pennsylvania, urging union voters to stand with Vice President Harris.
I promise you, if you elect Kamala Harris as president, it'll be the best decision you will have ever made.
The appearance capped a full day of campaigning for Harris, who visited Detroit and Pittsburgh, two of the biggest centers of organized labor.
Oh, it's good to be in the House of Labor. You better thank a union member for the 5-day work week. You better thank a union member for sick leave. You better thank a union member for paid leave. You better thank a union member for vacation time.
While her running mate, Tim Walz, made a pitch to union voters in Milwaukee.
When unions are strong, America is strong.
But before that appearance, a scary moment as vehicles in the Minnesota governor's campaign motorcade crashed into each other, leaving some staffers and reporters injured.
I'm relieved to say that with a few minor injuries, everybody's going to be okay.
Notably absent from the trail, former President Donald Trump and his running mate, J.D. Vance. But in an interview that aired over the weekend, Trump continued to claim his various legal battles aren't affecting his chances.
You get indicted for interfering with a presidential election where you have every right to do it. You get indicted and your poll numbers go up.
Just to reiterate how important Pennsylvania is this election season, Donald Trump will be here tomorrow for an event before heading to Wisconsin later in the week. Vice President Harris is headed to New Hampshire tomorrow, and then she's right back here in Steel City on Thursday. Ed O'Keefe, CBS News, Pittsburgh.
At least 3 people were killed in Russian aerial strikes across Ukraine last night, according to Ukrainian officials. A woman and her 8-year-old son died in a missile attack on a hotel complex. The woman's husband and 13-year-old daughter were seriously injured in the strike. Another man was killed and 6 others were injured in another region following the Russian missile attack. Now, this adds to the several other injured across Ukraine Monday in Russian attacks as children return to school nationwide. A defiant Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is pushing back against pressure to reach a deal for a ceasefire and release the remaining captives held by Hamas. Now, this comes following the killing of 6 hostages, including an Israeli American. Natalie Brand reports from Washington, D.C.
Thousands of Israeli protesters returned to the streets to demand Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu bring an end to the war in Gaza and free the remaining hostages.
He's ruining the country. He divides us in order to keep his control.
Netanyahu addressed the nation asking for forgiveness for not bringing home the 6 murdered hostages alive. But his tone quickly shifted, saying he would not give in to pressure.
We're asked to make concessions? What message does this send Hamas? It says, kill more hostages, murder more hostages, you'll get more concessions.
He insisted Israel must retain control of the Philadelphia corridor, a narrow strip of land along Gaza's southern border with Egypt.
He believes that if the Philadelphia corridor is not patrolled by Israeli defense forces, that Hamas will not be eradicated. It will be able to continue to get weapons and funds from Egypt.
Both Egypt and Hamas deny the corridor is used to smuggle weapons, with Hamas saying there will be no deal unless Israeli forces withdraw.
President Biden and Vice President Harris met in the Situation Room with the U.S. hostage deal negotiation team Monday to discuss next steps.
Speaking to reporters, President Biden criticized Netanyahu's efforts to end the war.
Do you think he's doing enough? No.
The president adding that he plans to speak to Netanyahu eventually as the war in Gaza rages on. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Washington.
Well, it's been a long weekend and now it's time to catch up. Here are 3 things to know. New photos show the dramatic decay occurring on the underwater wreckage of the Titanic. The images were taken in July by RMS Titanic, an American company that has salvage rights to the doomed vessel. RMS Titanic says it's saddened by the inevitable decay, and it will continue to preserve and document what it can as the ship's condition changes. A viral TikTok trend is encouraging people to commit what amounts to check fraud, and it's all on video. Videos posted to the app shows people getting so-called free cash from Chase ATMs by depositing checks made out to themselves for large sums of money. Chase says this glitch is actually a form of criminal check fraud. The bank says the issue has been addressed and warns people not to try it. And a strike affecting dozens of hotels across the country could grow today. The union is threatening to add locations in more cities. The walkout currently includes more than 10,000 Hilton, Marriott, and Hyatt employees. The dozens of affected hotels across the country are open, but some guests have complained about reduced services. Today was scheduled to be the last day of the strike. And that was 3 things for you to know. More news after this. Stay with us.
Thank you for watching today's News 12 Now. Make sure to subscribe so you find out why Texoma turns to us. You can also follow us on Instagram and Facebook, where you'll see more social media exclusive content. Want more News 12 Now? Watch us live every weekday through the KXII app on your phone or TV and through our website.